Alrighty. Hello, hello, hello. Lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action, sound. Hello, hello, hello. Get some sound in here. Let's see if we're working. Are we on? I think we are. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. This is your week of February 23rd and the following 7 days. This is it, folks. This is the last of February. This is supposed to be the most powerful month of the year. Now, does that mean the rest of the year will be an easy coast, a slide, a like, ooh, we get to just kind of chill? I don't think so. So it's this year, this month in particular, that sets up the year. Well, January really, actually 2025. You can see it in the last half of 2025. Things started to change. Things were shifting, were moving. And yeah, once January came around, some of the hidden, some of the, oh, we don't talk about that. Some of the, I didn't see nothing. Some of the, don't look behind that curtain. There's nothing there kind of stuff came out, right? And so surely we will have a ton more. We know we don't have all the information, and I'm using the astrology. Yes, Epstein for sure. But the astrology within itself also told us this story already when we understood the Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde begins right here at 22 degrees. So for this week and for the rest of the year, it is a revealing of what is it exactly is in the other, what is it, 3 million? We've got also Uranus and Mars right on the chart. We also have Saturn. We also have the nodes. We back this up, and you see a kite in here as well. We even have Venus hanging out up here in this corner. We will mention that. And the love, the lust, the desires of Venus energy, the stuff that goes on behind closed doors that we weren't privy to, didn't really want to be privy to it, but now that we are, and we have some stuff in black and white talking about it, it's shock and awe, but yet not really. This is a dissolving energy, Pisces. It is clouds of illusions and delusions and fantasy and make believe, but at the end of the day, the lesson of Pisces is to take the rose-colored glasses off, is to remove them, to literally dissolve them, to break them, to show you, even though it's really more you having the aha as opposed to somebody coming along and trying to convince you. There's a great depth of understanding with Pisces energy. Okay, how many times, right? You did this to me once, you did this to me twice. How many times does this have to happen before I wake up and I'm like, holy shit, oh my God, I should have known. All the signs were there, all the flags were there, that type of thing. And that's one of the other strong energies of Pisces. It's the river of denial, because it wants to kind of just tuck its head in the sand and not see the ugliness of the world. This is a very idealistic energy. The beginning of March, it would be a countdown. Beginning of March, it'll be a countdown for the Jupiter retrograde to end, which is why we really need the Jupiter while it's retrograding to produce justice. A sun is an authority figure, someone who has a position of authority, definitely in the spotlight. Government figures, public figures, wealthy, powerful folks. Now, we've been talking about the wealthy and the powerful and the abuse of their power for a while, because that is what Pluto was all about. It shows us the abuses of power, because Pluto is all about power, but it's the shock and the awe, right? The public, the group, humanity, and the public for sure when Pluto is at a 4 degrees, right? So once we started really looking into other things that were going on, like stuff, like literally getting rid of bodies, the use of acid, running tests on these bodies slash babies, which was babies having babies because the babies had been raped. There are plenty of young girls who start ovulating at a very young age. Most folks, if it's not you, especially if you're male, you might not realize that. Yeah, so a young girl can be pretty young and be pregnant. And anyway, so just a lot of really super creepy stuff, that has been coming out. And so again, it's all connected. It's all connected to this rot. 8 degrees is the change. We're changing on a deep level. We're changing at the root level. Now, I'm so curious how this is going to work in the US, folks. I am just as curious as you. If there's one thing the astrology has taught me, is when you're looking, at one person's chart, that's one thing, but we're talking many, many lives, many, many people, many different levels of power. So it's like, what the hell is this? Who's going to tumble next, right? I will say that that big kite in the chart for this week stays stays true for pretty much the whole week. The health of somebody's mind, possibly a government people, possibly a government leader. Maybe it would be the leader, possibly their mind and their health and their well being coming under scrutiny. Not that it shouldn't have already been before, not that it was already obvious, not that it wasn't already obvious before, but hopefully there's more steps that can be taken now in some way to do what is necessary. A lot of fiery Aries energy, fighting energy about the wounds of my body from the past, the abuse, the body autonomy, you didn't respect my boundaries. Eris is quite angry. And then we have Cirrus, who's joining that party. That's what the 3 purple arrows are. Cirrus is connected to moon energy. So this is connected to cycles. This is connected to the public, feminine energy, how we feel nurtured. This is very fired up. This is very much about my body, independence, and freedoms and liberties, my individuality. It's very fired up and it's conjunct and at the top of the kite. More fight energy, more spontaneous, more group energy, more we're going to protest energy in Aquarius. And bodies will show up because it's Mars. We're fighters, we're freedom fighters, Mars and Aquarius. And then the can of worms. Oh shit. Don't you feel like the freaking Epstein files, Trumpstein files are the can of worms? Like, holy shit. Right? It's been opened and we haven't even viewed them all, right? And then Isis. Isis, wife of Pluto. Isis. So if, talk about the dead, the undead, the dead speaking, right? Coming back to life, information, writing, book. This is all of that. Really kind of fascinating. So it's all that same energy that comes through and pours out through the tip of this kite. Protests and revolutionary type of energy. Feminine energy, angry over her wounds from the past. This is the astrology. And it's also tragically freaking sick and sad and horrific. And Saturn is front and center now because she's at 1. She went to 1 degrees like a couple of days ago. But Saturn will be getting paired up, right? Being at 1, she moved ahead of Neptune. But guess what? Neptune moves to 1 degrees this week. And that's what happens on the 27th, 26th, 27th. Neptune goes to 1 degrees of Aries. So it is definitely not only like an activation point, but it's an initiation point. It is, we are taking action. We're not just talking about it. It's not just a rumbling. You're seeing it now. It's more visible. There's some more reorganizing going on, definitely. So the whole Department of Homeland Security, right? Department Homeland Security, DHS, the ICE stuff. I'm hoping that would have been dismantled on some level. It shouldn't be about killing, caging, and torturing. Like, what the hell? What have we become? What have we become? Because we still have shakeups and a lot of crazy stuff going on, and still shocks and surprises. Remember, this Mars at 24 degrees in Aquarius will receive a shock and a surprise from Uranus at 27 degrees. And of course, yeah, even on this day, Monday, is, whenever you're watching this video, Monday, the 23rd, the moon is conjunct Uranus, which is, yeah, the public and emotions and feelings. But Uranian energy is the authority figure. Mars is not. For those of you in your chart who have a sensitive Mars, where it can go off the handle and it's Mars, be aware the day, like from this day on. So you're talking this whole week, technically, this whole week, your Mars is going to feel very on the edge, very intense, very much like it feels like somebody is oppressing it, because Mars is in, I am free. I can do what I want when I want. You're not the boss of me. Yes, this can be military and ICE agents. It just anybody who's got the strong masculine kind of energy. At the same time, it's going to be Uranus and Taurus that's like, but I'm your boss. These are your orders. This is what you can or can't do. It throws a square to Mars. So Mars gets very easily frustrated, agitated, and angry. So this is all really kind of good to know in advance. This is time where if we've got Mars, which I do in my chart, when you have a Mars that is affected very easily, um, because it's it's one of the, what's the way to put it? I don't want to call it a ruling planet in your chart, but it kind of is. Because whatever happens to Mars up there, like you feel it really strongly. It's like you got a direct line. Mars has a direct line to you, and you feel the anger and the rage and the passion about something rise up in you. So this kind of energy is when we need to step out. We need to back up. We need to count to 25 or 30 multiple times. We need to go and be alone. Go kick a bag filled with dirt. Go punch it. Go dig some freaking holes. Go do something to get that extra edge off. Something that's healthy. Usually Mars does well when it is physically challenged. So you need to figure out what that is for you. All right. So that would kind of be like a Mars alert thing, which is why the Uranus and Mars thing is highlighted here. Because Mars, even though it's the soldier, when it's in Aquarius energy, it doesn't feel like it should be able to have anybody telling it what to do. This Venus is not retrograding yet, but she will begin a retrograde. Is actually quite a ways off, but it's key. It's very key because part of Venus's retrograde is at 8 degrees of Scorpio. Now, when I say the number 8, your ears should be perking up because you heard me say the number 8 in a water sign earlier. You heard me talk about the North Node at 8 degrees over here in Pisces, and that Venus was there, right? You heard me talk about how Mercury has to do a retrograde, and in its retrograde, it goes back to 8 degrees of Pisces. Venus at an 8 degrees to this sensitive point, 8 degrees in Pisces, will be key. This is values, shared values, but this is trauma, sexual trauma, abuse of power. Yes, it's insurance money. It's all of that. 8 degrees, inheritances. It's also tariffs, big time. Taxes and tariff energy. But it's Venus we're talking about. Our values, our loves, our desires, our shared values. Yes, this is also rare earth minerals. This energy and Venus beginning her retrograde at 8 degrees of Scorpio can give us a little bit of a foreshadow of that Mercury energy on the other side of the chart. You see where I'm going, right? Because the Venus retrograde is in significant one-on-one relationships. It goes from 8 degrees in Scorpio back to 22 money, institutions, government, long term, what we're rebuilding, long term rules, diplomatic relationships, right? Yeah. 22 degrees. The boss, the head person in charge, lawyers, the justice system. This is all part of this. Marriage and business partnerships is included, but what we built for the long term. So 8 degrees Venus, money, love, desires, all part of this story. So this combination, again, can kind of give us a little bit of foreshadow because the Mercury retrogrades this year all happen in water signs. Yeah, we'll have a Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and then we'll have a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So you see the unfolding of the energy, you can't rush it. The universe works in its own time. So we have to be patient, but we have to just be diligent for seeing the truth. And the truth isn't always what we want it to be. We have to say, what's more important? Do I want to see what I want to believe, or do I want to see the objective truth?